This is a session about Aegir. I was trying to come up with the right pronunciation yesterday evening, and I watched over 10 videos, and each of the presenters spelled different. One version called Aegir, another one Aegir, another one Aegir, or something like that. So just call it however you want. So I will call Aegir. Well, Aegir is some kind of control panel for Drupal sites. I would like to know how many of you are familiar with Aegir already. Okay. Let's continue now. I will say something about me. My name is Damjan. I work with now with Istok. Istok is the guy who's having a session behind this wall. I started as PHP developer, and back then I created custom CMS to fit my needs. But as the needs were growing, I basically didn't know if this is the right way to go. Because if you are developing on your own, it's very likely that you will have more bugs than if many people are working on the same code. So I started using Drupal version 4 point something. The difference between Drupal 4 and Drupal 7 or even 8 is huge. Like I said, now I work as a system administrator. I configuring and keeping all the servers running. That's why I will talk about Aegir. I use on different locations for different needs. Well, first I want to cover some topics that I believe that many of you are familiar with, especially if you are running Drupal sites only on your machine or even on the servers. As you can see here, I'm talking about only Drupal installations and installations with Aegir. With Drupal, you can have multi-site functionality, which is already built in Drupal, and you can have non-multi-site functionality. For the first topic, I will describe that if you're not using multi-site environment, you have duplicated files of Drupal cores on your file system. You can, I don't know, forget about it because the Drupal core files aren't so big. But if you are doing some kind of PHP acceleration on your server, it's very important which files get stored into the RAM because you want to keep small size and make larger space in RAM for other stuff. So duplicated Drupal core modules are very bad things. And if you are not using multi-site environment, then you're basically using each Drupal core for your separate website. And this is very hard to maintain, especially if you have large numbers of Drupal sites. Well, if you are using multi-site environment, you still have some problems with maintaining sites. One of the biggest issues is updating all the modules. Because you have to manually download all the updated files, you have to run update scripts, you have to check if everything works, and before that it's very wise to back up everything. You still have to do this manually. If you are smart, you can use Rush. How many of you is using Rush? So you are very familiar with Rush, I believe, because in Aegir, Rush is very basic stuff for server-side configuration file creation. Also, if you're not using Aegir, you have to manually create virtual host configurations for your web server. You have to manually create database, username, and database, and a bunch of other stuff that are, I don't know how to say it, that are very hard to maintain. You have very large size of domain. With Aegir, you don't have these problems because some of these topics just drop off. You don't need to worry about virtual host configuration. You don't worry about database management because Aegir does it for you automatically. It creates all the necessary files, creates database, user. Aegir even creates the privileges on database. Even create all the necessary folder structure inside sites folder and maintain the right permissions to be secure as can be. So if you're not using Aegir, you have a chance to go another way. The way is to install Aegir, to try it, test it, and play with it. The downside of Aegir is that it only runs on Linux-like operating systems. It doesn't run on Windows. This is mainly because the code inside the modules that are making Aegir possible can be run only on Windows, and configurations files and the paths, all depends on Unix-like file structure. So what is Aegir or Aegir or something like that? Or who is Aegir? If you Google it, you'll see that Aegir was a god of oceans in Norse mythology. But for Drupal people, it's a very powerful hosting system. It allows you to manage, create, deploy your websites. Basically, Aegir is Drupal. Based on Drupal 6. I don't know if there is any talk about upgrading to Drupal 7, since there is no need to do this, because this version of Drupal doesn't limit you what kind of version Drupal you want to run on Aegir. And of course, inside Aegir, you need Drush. Installing Aegir, it's very simple, especially if you are coming from Damjan, because there is a repository to build. You can install Aegir by apt-get command. It's very easy to just put install and you get Aegir up and running. But if you are not running your servers on Ubuntu or Debian-based operating system, you can still run it on every other operating system that is Unix alive. You just need to make sure that you install all the support features, Rush, for example, MySQL, web server, and other stuff like Node Sync, Git, and so on. So you need Rush. This is the basic. Rush is command line shell, you're familiar with it. And after you install it, you get some folders inside home folder of Aegir. The way you install Aegir on the system is that you create a new user. This user can be called Aegir or Aegir system or whatever you want to call it. And you install Aegir like this user. libraries for storing configuration files for your web server. So with installing Aegir, you can install it automatically or install it by hand, manually. And if you go to aegirproject.org, you will see very well written documentation how to install Aegir. Also documentation to cover different operating systems and what to expect when installing on Red Hat or Arch Linux or any other. And during the installation process, you will see that you have to deal with provision component. This is backend tool for system test. Hosting, it's a front-end tool. This is what makes Aegir useful. Hostmaster is a profile that gets installed on the system. The team that Aegir uses is called Alpe-Adria, and again, Brush. And when you get everything installed, you will quickly notice that you have in Aegir you have 3 entities. These entities are servers, platforms, and sites. It's very important that you understand all 3 of them, because understanding what they do and how they work, it's very important when you are trying to automate stuff or even make it in larger scale or even provide a hosting solution for your clients. Servers inside Aegir are physical or virtual servers, and this server can have web server plus database. So one server is a set of, I don't know, Apache server and database server, and you can have one server or many as you want. For example, if you have in some kind of network environment, you have, for example, 5 servers. One is used mainly for development, another for production. You can put all your servers inside Aegir, and when you are creating a new site, you create sites first on development server, and after a while, when this site is ready for production, you just move it to production server in one click, and Aegir will basically transfer all the needed files, configurations, and database to the destination server. You can have database and web server on different servers. It's not important that you have all this together on one server. So you can have one server that is dedicated only for database and optimized for database. You have other front-end servers for file services. You can also have some benefits for inside setting file, where you can use multiple database servers inside Drupal, but this already exists inside Drupal. Platform. Those of you who are familiar with multi-site environment, this is platform. Platform is one Drupal core that contains a bunch of modules that you put in. So Drupal, platform, it's Drupal core plus your modules that you are making available inside this platform, plus themes, and maybe even some profile installation or some already known distribution like Aegir, Solaris, and Open Publish and others. When you create a new platform, you decide where this platform will be hosted. So with the creation of platform, you select one of your servers. And this platform gets transferred to that server. And very important to understand is that when you create a new platform, that means that you have to put Drupal core on your server. But you do this on Aegir master server, on the server where you are hosting Aegir. And when you hit apply, and when this settings gets to the server, Aegir transfer configuration file files and this platform to destination server. So you don't have to log in to destination server, you don't need FTP or terminal access to destination server, you just let it be done by Aegir itself. This is very useful because you have, in the same time, you have a backup for your destination servers. If something goes wrong, you still have everything on this master server. Even if you create a backup of a site gets resynced back to the Aegir master server and then backed up on the Aegir server. So during the compressed process, you don't, you only consume resources of Aegir master server, not of the production server. This is also one useful thing to know. So platforms, for example, if you have one platform with modules today all updated, you put it inside platform, you install it, and you have multiple sites on the platform. When you want to update everything, you create a new platform with updated modules, and then you just migrate site from one platform to another, and Drupal will figure out which module will be updated, and during this migration process, Aegir will make sure that these modules will be updated. So you can easily update the whole site, but if you're worried about broken your site, you can create a copy of just like a snapshot of your website. You put it on a new platform which is updated, and if everything works, you just shut down the old site and put this online. So now we are already talking about sites. These sites are individual websites deployed on a platform. When you create site, you select platform, and with platform selection you basically select on which server do you want to host your files. And you also select which database this site needs to use. So you can have, so where this site will be hosted depends on the platform, and where the platform is hosted depends on your server. So determining the platform will determine the destination server for files. I would just like to remind you that if you have any questions regarding the topics or any other Aegir stuff, just feel free to raise hand and ask. We have plenty of time. We will talk a little bit about servers. This is the thing I was talking about. If you have only one server, or if you are running Aegir on your local machine, just for testing and playing, you can have Aegir master and one server all in one machine. But you can have multiple. It depends on your needs and what are you trying to achieve. So these are web servers with database, and you manage all the sites on that servers through Aegir. Platforms, I already told everything about it. Okay, hosted on servers, Drupal core files created from Drupal, okay. They use Drupal site, multi-site functionality, are located inside platforms directory. This directory is created when you install Aegir. Sites, single websites published on platform. You need to understand that when you create a new site, Aegir will create web server configuration file, and it's very important to know that if you alter this file on your own, not telling Aegir that you did, the changes will not take effect because Aegir will replace these configuration files on the next verify. Aegir has this verify process when Aegir verifies platform settings or site settings, and if any third-party dangerous software or even you change something inside the files, Drupal will recreate files. So this is one way, Aegir will create those files. And this is one way how Aegir is trying to keep all the settings like they should be. But still, you have, but still in some cases, you want to alter the configurations file for a web server. For example, if you want to log your websites from other public internet, you maybe just want to allow your developer to see the site or even the clients to see the developing process. You can add, I don't know, for example, basic HTTP login inside the virtual host file. You can also do this by changing settings inside .htaccess file, but everything that is inside the platform root directory applies to all sites that are in it. So this is not very wise to do. You need to have some functionality to do this per virtual host. And you have this option. You can use Drush. Drush is when Aegir is creating files. Drush is run at the back end, and you can create Drush subfolder in the home directory of Aegir user, and inside you create a new file called something.drush.inc, and you can put there any additional functions and functionality that you want to be applied on your sites. For example, I'm using this very often. This is provision Apache Virtual Host config. GUI string, this is string containing the virtual host name. So you just examine if equals something, you return new lines of code for a web server config file. I will go one slide back. So when you create a new site, you have different options on this site. You can enable it, you can disable it. Even if site is disabled and a visitor comes on the site, you can show a message, the site was disabled, and I don't know, customer didn't pay the bill or something like that. You can easily back up the whole site, you can restore site from previous backup. All backups are stored on Aegir master server. So if you are backing up a remote server, just like I said before, files get synced back to Aegir master, and then the tar compression starts. You can clone your site. For example, if you have simple site that you can use multiple times on different clients or projects, you just clone those sites with a few clicks, and you have another site running. You just change titles and content and select different theme, of course. Migrate, I was talking about this before. It's very useful when when updating stuff. And also this migrate function is used when you are moving page from development environment to production, because you are moving page from one platform to another. And one very useful thing is the reset password function. When you click it, you get the new login link on your email. Also, when you create a new site, you get the email with the link for this new site. You can open it and start using your site right away. Aegir has also some other features that you can enable and use if you want. One of the features is called aliasing, that adds support for aliases for your websites. You can also select redirect when somebody comes to your site through alias, get automatically redirect to main client that adds support for possible clients or developers to have their own account on Aegir, and you can limit that user which platform that user can use and which function on the platform are allowed for a particular user. So you can have some, I don't know, developers working on one platform, you just gain access to that platform inside Aegir. But if you want to make sure that this limitation also applies on the file system, you have to figure out how to do this, because this is not done in Aegir. I'm doing this that way. I'm using limited shell with a little bit of tweaking and bash scripting, and I achieve that my clients and developer can only see their allowed sites. Also, if you know this company Omega 8 CC, the Omega 8 are providing hosting solutions for Drupal. You can apply for a free trial. You will get an account that you can use for FTP, terminal access, and then you basically receive the whole Aegir installation. I think it's called Omega 8. But with Omega 8, you can. I didn't notice that you are able to use multiple servers with them. They are only doing this on one server. When you are buying an account, you choose on which server you want to host. I was doing an installation on which I want to provide clients for them to select which server to use. I want clients to be able to select, I don't know, I want to host this on this server, this site on this server. It all depends on how you categorize your websites. Additional resources of Aegir project can be found on aegirproject.org. There's very good documentation and comments. You can also join on events to chat. You can also follow Aegir project on Twitter. But for start, it's very useful to read documentation on Aegir project. Maybe even look to some videos and slides that are available on that website. And you just need to start using it. After that, you see what are you missing or what do you want to do. Now, I will also present you demo about one of the installations. It's not big. There are many sites in this administration, but it will allow me to show you how easy it is to create and maintain sites. This is for this I'll be using development and production environment. On one server I'm running Aegir master, this development server for our developers, and one server is for production. And this production server, nobody from development team is not allowed to access production directly, because if they want to change something, they need to copy the sites back, change the code, test it. If everything is okay, then they can apply this code on the production. I will need to change this settings first. This. Okay, here I have the terminal. Okay, this is my development server. Now, better? These are folders that are created when you install Aegir. Inside for backups, bunch of backup files. Inside there is the whole archive of sites. Sites folder. Inside, if you go inside config, you will see configuration files for each server. Also, another server is called Hera. This is my production. For example, inside Hera, you can see virtual host configurations, and here is the configuration file that gets created automatically. And also database username, passwords are stored inside the configuration files. So this is my development. Here I have only a few folders, only two. One is for configuration files and other for platforms. And now let's see this. Okay. This is my Aegir. Let's start with servers. These are my two servers. I'm running MySQL database and Apache web server on both of them. I have few platforms. The platform name is up to you, but I like to use a Drupal version for the name because it's easy to know which kind of Drupal it is inside the platform. In the platform list, you can see the release server on which the platform is hosted, how many sites this platform has, and when was the last verified process complete. If I select, for example, this one, and I hit edit, you can change the name, and when you create a new platform, you define where this platform is. For example, we can create a new platform. This is the site production server, but as I mentioned before, you only create platforms on your Aegir master. I will create a platform for production. I will just git brush download. Hope that everything will work okay. I have now Drupal 7.22. So this is my Drupal core. I copy this. I go create constant platform. Let's say Drupal 7. Okay, this is my path. So this is the name where the files are. You can also use makefile, and you select on which server do you want to host these files. I will choose Hera. You can also choose which client have access to this platform. When you hit save, now all you have to do is wait the installation process to begin. I will not wait for this. I will run this manually. Okay, let's see. Okay, something is working. Oh, yes. Now we have successfully added a new platform, and here we are on the development server. And if you go to the production server, you can see we have now also same platform on production server. These files were transferred automatically. I didn't even download it to the rush core on the production side. So now you can create a new site. Let's do this. New site. You can choose domain name, for example, this google.com. That will definitely work. You choose installation profile, and our platform is this one. For database, I will choose the same. And here you can put additional aliases to this site. One cool feature about Aegir is that you can pre-specify what kind of suffix each site must have for alias. So we'll leave this blank, and when I hit save, you will see that this alias was created automatically. And if you have a wildcard record inside your domain, each name in front of my .detail.net name will be resolved to the same IP as dev.html. That is very useful because you don't need to put additional records inside your zone file of the domain for each time you create a new site. But now this will not work because we are doing this on a production server, and I will add alias by my own. I just want to run this installation process. Okay, fresh. It's working. Sorry. Okay, we can go here and see. Yes, this is our site on the production server. Still working. You can also have a development server or Aegir server inside your office or at your home, and you can connect server that is remotely, I don't know, in a different location or even a different data center or continent. You just need to make sure that remote sync can be done, and also MySQL connection needs to go through, because all MySQL connection to remote server are done through MySQL port. But if you have this if you are moving this traffic through public internet, it's very important that you consider a security risk. Because if you are not using SSL on top of MySQL connections, it's very risky if someone is sneaking your traffic. On one of the locations, I'm using tunnels for connecting two servers, and so clients have one development server at their facilities, and production server is somewhere else. Okay, my site is installed. I will just change alias because I have the same settings for production. Maybe this module needs to be a little bit updated. This automatic aliasing to support multiple predefined suffix. Okay, let's save this. Fresh. Now if I open this URL, this is my new I will add some content. Hello. Provide menu link. So we have here home. And now I would like to show you this backup. Here I can take backup. Old version, for example. I run this. This backup process can take some time if you have large sites on connection, on slow connection between those two servers. You just have to wait. Okay, now we change this. Change hello view. So now I have Drupal A change hello view, and now I will try to restore this. You can select from which backup would you like to restore your site. To restore it. This command that I'm running from terminal is because I don't want to wait for 1 minute to Chrome kicks in. I hope this will work. The last presentation because of the internet. Okay, and if I refresh this, I'm back to the old version of my Drupal site. You can also migrate. Let's try this. I will migrate this from my. Now I will copy this. I will go this site. That's I don't know, something Drupal.org, and from here to Apollo, and to which one is this one? Can you do this? You cannot transfer back. Because of the errors, of course. Because of the large version differences between cores, I cannot clone this side back to lower versions. But let's try to clone other side. It isn't so big, for example, this one. I need to show you this. This is available on this areas. Okay, this is one side, a website of my friend that is making homemade yogurt and cheese. And now I will clone this. Clone. I think this will take some time because of photos. That's it. So this is basically what you can do with Aegir. Any questions or thoughts about using Aegir or others?
Is there any consideration of feature module?
Because this is Drupal 6 version, you can use any module that is available for Drupal 6. So you can add additional support features, whatever you want inside this. me neither. But if they are, you can do. You can also add commerce model for selling or any other theme, possibly. It all depends on you. This is basically Drupal behind this, and you can do clone. It's halfway there. Now I just need to do the import. For those who are already running multi-site environments, and if you want to move to Aegir, there is very easy process on how to do this. You just copy your multi-site folder, the whole folder, inside platform. You add platform to Aegir, and Aegir will look up inside your sites folder, and will find your site and will automatically import all of those sites inside Aegir. This name of your site, it's very important, or not, depends how you look at it. But this name goes to server name inside virtual host configuration. So you can use this real names, or you can use only local names that are only resolved on your side, or you don't even use the real FQDN names. Okay. So this side is support, the one, I have your side, it's available, okay, and yes, for production. You see here is the detection checkbox.
Yeah. How long does it take to configure everything to have it smooth running and from the start, from fresh?
Because I want to have this limited shell access for my developers, this takes me some time because I need to rewrite some of the scripts. Because with limited shell, you have some limitations on how to sync files from one server to another. You have to change the path to be relative, not absolute. But if you forget about this kind of installation, if you just want to have regular progression for your own team, you need, I don't know, an hour. It depends on your Linux skills.
does Aegir handle MySQL changes? For example, if I pull a production site to the development server, I edit what I need to edit, and I want to push it back. And for example, the user, the client, have already added new content to the production site.
This is a very big problem with all of the Drupal sites, because if you are developing sites on the way your settings are stored in database, it's very hard to maintain this database and move database from development to production and back. So Aegir on this database manner only copy the database. It doesn't change or sync the databases in between. So in this, it's better, in my opinion, to put everything with features in strong ARM inside a module. So we have all configurations inside the file, and you maintain file with Git, something like that.
So then easier to sync only files and then to enable the feature created module, than to try to handle two databases.
Yeah. There are many software how to, if you have, I don't know, the development side and production, each running different database. There are some tools which you can use to sync the database, but still you can encounter a lot of problems.
So basically the recipe is to test everything on the development and then migrate everything.
But you cannot migrate the site because database, because that will mean that you have to tell your clients don't put any content on the website, because this is very hard to do if you have live site with comments for users. You cannot do this.
So whatever you export with features, and so strong arm and all other stuff you have to do it manually.
In my case, this is long term. This is the right way to go.
Okay.
Because even if something broke the database, you still have all the configurations in files and some Git, and you don't worry about that some user will gain some higher privileges and change your settings. Okay. If you have any questions later this day or tomorrow over here, if not, you can contact me at the information I put on the slide. If you want, you can also take my card if you have any questions regarding Aegir or any system networking.